It's like the news, but for nerds. Subscribe so you never miss an episode. Nerd Vengers, it is Josh, and this is your Nerdy News Rundown for Thursday, May 27th, 2021. A couple of juicy stories today, including a Marvel story that we missed from yesterday, came in late, all about the villain, the rumored villain for Captain America 4. We definitely want to talk about that. I, of course, want to talk about the Kraven the Hunter story. We technically didn't talk about that yesterday on the Nerdy News Rundown, so I want to do a TLDR on that and talk about some new updates for that. But first, I want to start with Marvel finally acknowledging Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight with a tweet on the official Marvel Studios Twitter account saying, "We are Moon Knight," and quoting Oscar Isaac with a picture of Oscar Isaac's face behind a ton of cool posters and images from Moon Knight comic books. Now, many Marvel fans are like, wait, what? This is the first time they've officially talked about it? Yeah, it's totally the first time that they've officially talked about it. We've seen set photographs. We've seen him with Ethan Hawke apparently filming for the show already, but last December 10th, when they had the official sort of big presentation to Disney shareholders, they talked about the Moon Knight show, but did not officially announce Oscar Isaac as starring in the role. And for whatever reason, they haven't officially announced him in the role at all. This was the first official time that Marvel has done that. That's fantastic news. The post is super hype. I absolutely love Moon Knight. I love Oscar Isaac. I'm very excited for that show. So let the hype officially begin. And now let's talk about that Kraven the Hunter news. I've been kind of surprised at how people have been taking this online, but yes, according to the Hollywood trades, Aron Taylor Johnson, who played Quicksilver in the MCU movies, is cast as Kraven the Hunter for not only a solo movie, which will be coming out in 2023, but he's apparently also signed up for multiple projects over at Sony. It's also come out that Sony was after some incredibly big names for this role. It's a huge deal for Sony Pictures moving forward, and Aron Taylor Johnson got the role because of a very intense performance in a Bullet Train movie that is coming out very soon. And so that is all pretty freaking cool in and of itself, but also out there is an exclusive from Fandom Wire and Andy Signore talking about the fact that not only will Aron Taylor Johnson play Kraven the Hunter in the solo Sony movie and in some other Sony films, but he will indeed be one of the many Spider-Man villain to appear in Spider-Man 3 No Way Home. And this all comes from a scoop prior that Fandom Wire had back in the day, explaining all the different villains that would end up being in the show. And within that, they just had it for sure from their sources that Kraven would be in this movie, but they didn't know it was going to be Aron Taylor Johnson until the news broke yesterday in the Hollywood trades. And so if you watch Andy's video about this, he's talking about how they had this a while ago that Kraven was going to be in it, and now that it's Aron Taylor Johnson, it just makes sense. Multi-picture deal. He likely has already filmed this role for Spider-Man No Way Home. However, there are several other insiders and scoopers out there debunking, or at least attempting to debunk, this exclusive from Andy. They are saying that no, Aron Taylor Johnson and Kraven the Hunter will not be in Spider-Man No Way Home. And I've reached out to several different people. I can't get a clean read on this. My general sense is that I do not think that Andy got false information, nor do I think he would report something without actually having heard it. I guess what I'm saying is we'll treat it as rumor for now, but I do think that Andy, at the time that he got that scoop back in the day, did have actual information indicating that Kraven the Hunter would be one of the many villains that would be in Spider-Man 3, but a lot of things have been shuffling around. It seems like there's a lot of weirdness and shuffling around going on with Spider-Man 3. I know some of you are sick of the Spider-Man 3 rumors, but that is news out there, folks, an exclusive by Andy Signore, that the Kraven the Hunter, Aron Taylor Johnson's Kraven the Hunter character will be in Tom Holland's Spider-Man 3 No Way Home. Let us know what you think about that in the comment section below. And honestly, let us know what you think about Aron Taylor Johnson in general being cast as Kraven. There's a lot of people that are not super pumped about this casting for whatever reason, whether or not they think he's not very good for the role, or whether or not they felt like he would be coming back to be Quicksilver, or perhaps returning to the MCU. I don't know. There's a lot of conflicting feelings out there from the nerds. So I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think in general about the Kraven the Hunter news and the fact that Aron Taylor Johnson is likely to appear, or at least rumored to appear, rather, in Spider-Man No Way Home. Let us know what you think. And now let's finish off with a Captain America 4 story coming from the hashtag show. They are running this as an exclusive. It says here, exclusive Captain America 4's villain is revealed. Sin. It says we can exclusively share that Marvel does have a script, has undergone a rewrite, and is undergoing another rewrite, but this isn't stopping Marvel from casting the film. We have exclusive details on a recent casting for the film. The casting call is for the film's villain and lists that Marvel Studios is looking for a Kate Mara type. This doesn't mean Kate Mara is the exact actress they want, but is an indicator for age, physical features, general demeanor, etc. We can exclusively share that this casting is for Cynthia Schmidt, aka Sin. In the comics, Sin is the daughter of the Red Skull and reworks to reestablish Hydra. While plot details are sparse, it's safe to assume the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. We have exclusively learned that Sin will be reevaluating the legacy of her father, Captain America, and Sam's new role as Captain America. We do also know that Emily Van Camp will be returning as Sharon Carter / the Power Broker. However, her role changed. She was originally planned to be the film's main villain, though Marvel and Kevin Feige are hesitant to make her the main villain after a negative fan response to her arc on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So expect her to have a role, but a reduced role, not the main villain role. So it's a very interesting report. We are treating this as a rumor for now. I like the hashtag show. I think they do some good work over there, but I haven't really seen this corroborated or talked about by a lot of other people out there. However, it does make a lot of sense on face value. Sin, being the daughter of the Red Skull, seems like a brilliant play. You'll have sort of a newer version of the Red Skull, and you have a new version of Captain America. That is absolutely brilliant, and I think it's an amazing thing to see Sin in the MCU and her to be reestablishing Hydra, which I expect to be playing a big role in the MCU for the rest of time. And so this idea of her reimagining Hydra, rethinking the legacy of her father, maybe she doesn't want to be as crazy, or maybe she wants to be a little bit more stealthy with things. That is very interesting. She's also rethinking the legacy of Steve Rogers, and she's thinking about Sam's new role as Captain America. Seems like perfect political intrigue for a Captain America 4. And I also want to briefly talk about this idea that Sharon Carter was going to play the main villain, but because of a lackluster response from fans, they are rewriting that. Now, look, that would explain why you have rewrites in general coming out of the show. I know Malcolm Spellman kind of teased that he had been working on this thing for a while. They already had the script. I find that fascinating. Sharon Carter meant to be the main villain. It would explain why she was set up in the way she was set up in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But it's kind of interesting to me that she didn't really hit with fans, and I saw that for what it was, but it's interesting that Marvel also saw that. This, to me, is pretty interesting. If this is true, this would indicate that despite what Disney says, despite the company line, and despite what you see from people in interviews, they're acutely aware of how fans are actually receiving this, looking out there online, being very cognizant of how things are landing, and then making adjustments as they go along. That seems really smart and brilliant to me. And I don't mind Sharon Carter. I did think her arc was a little ridiculous, and especially the fact that it was that post-credit scene. I just wasn't feeling it. So it's interesting that they see that out there in the fandom, and they are reducing Emily Van Camp's role. I wonder how you feel about that if you're a Marvel fan. How do you feel about this idea of the Red Skull's daughter coming into the MCU and reforming Hydra? And do you think that's a cool enough story and a concept for Captain America 4? I personally think it's perfect, but I also would love a little bit of tease of like Secret Empire type stuff, maybe leading into some weirdness in the multiverse like that. But frankly, having a reformed Hydra, doing a political intrigue espionage film, and really struggling with legacy and continue to struggle with legacy for Sam, legacy for Sin. I mean, that's pretty freaking interesting. So I'm down, but I definitely want to know what all of you nerds think about it in the comment section below. And again, make sure you are subscribed to this channel where we drop in multiple videos, clips from streams. We're definitely going to be hitting Nerdy News Rundown at around 6 p.m. Monday through Friday for you guys here. here, so that will be anchored. And then we have a ton of content coming at you. And YouTube's not always great about pushing it out, so make sure you subscribe to the channel with notifications on. And make sure you check out the live streaming channel, where I am sure we will be talking about this in many live streams over the next few days and several weeks as we head into all the juicy stuff in the back half of this year from Marvel. It's going to be very, very exciting. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.